Hey everybody, this is TJR. And so I've got my second month membership in the Vinyl Me Please Record Club here. It arrived. And we're going to take a look at this. Now, as I said in the last video, this time around, I let them send me their selection of the month, which they pick out. And I didn't see anything that I really wanted to swap it for from the choices I had available, so I just decided to let them send it. And I'll open it up here. I don't know a whole lot about this artist, to be honest, but they seem to think that it's something special. So I will open it, then I will listen to it, and I will tell you what I think. And once again, Vinyl Me Please, if you missed the first episode, is of what I would say kind of a high-end boutique record club. They deal in very special and unique pressings that they, have their own pressings that they release. This is kind of the opposite of the Amazon music, record club of the month, which of course I also joined, and then of course made videos just to show you what the experience was, so you could know if it was something you wanted to do. So here we go. There we go. We'll see what Grogu thinks too. So let's open this up here. Here we go. And let's take a look. I think we go here. Okay, very good. I, once again, do like how these are packaged. I'll go ahead and show you this here. I think the packaging is very good as far as protecting the record. Let's pull this out. Ooh, this is thick. This is very thick. Oh, what's this? We got, hold on a sec here. What's this? Oh, interesting. Okay. I'll show you this too. Let me just put this package down. I pulled out the record and I just happened to notice this little sticker here. It says on the back here, this sticker was designed by VMP member Charles Conkle. And let's see, and there's I guess this is maybe a Twitter, maybe? At Low Rent High Rise. Scan the code and submit a design for your chance to win. Winners receive VMP store credit and your sticker sent to all VMP members. See full contest rules and prizes at the link. Okay, so this is like a special bonus thing here. I guess you can get some credit, store credit or something. Because along with their record of the month, which you pay for with your membership, you can buy other records, they say, at discounted prices, but they also say only members can buy. So anyways, though. But let's tell you about the record. Here we go. Here it is. Beverly Glenn Copeland. This is the record. Once again, I don't know who this artist is. Now, just like the Queen album that I showed you, it comes in its own sealable and resealable bag, protective bag for it. It's got this OBI strip here. And on the back is some information. So let me read this to you here. For decades, Beverly Glenn Copeland's music lay in wait. From his earliest folk excursions to the experiments in digital synthesis on which he'd eventually made his name, Beverly Glenn Copeland worked for most of his life in obscurity, chasing what excited him, transcribing songs that he felt drifted to him on what he's dubbed the Universal Broadcasting System. This is the name he uses to describe the mysterious germination of ideas, which come sometimes as if from thin air. His music has taken many forms, and it has always bled outside the lines of genre, to which he's held a lifelong ambivalence. What's the use of putting music in a box if it's too alive, what's this word here? What's the use in putting music in a box if it's too alive? Too M-O-T-I-L-E. Motile? Now, Superfan, do you know that word?
Motile, I think,
I've never heard it.
I've heard it.
Go ahead and look it up. Yeah, go ahead and look it up. If it's too motile to stay there. Glenn Copeland cross-pollinated disparate genres long before cross-pollination became standard practice for blockbuster pop and niche experiments alike.
capable of motion.
Okay, capable of motion. That's what it means. Okay. And then I'm going to read the next paragraph here. Beverly Glenn Copeland, his 1970s sophomore album, marks a point where the young composer began to branch off from the classical tradition to seek out what pleased him and integrate it into his own work. At a very young age, I found that I liked just about all the music I ever heard, he said. I was finally letting myself explore music from around the world more. The imprint from his years spent as a leader, Lieder, or maybe that's pronounced lighter, as a leader singer, had started to leave him. That tradition was starting to disappear from my body, he said. In its place flowed North American folk and jazz and music from Asia and Africa. These newer influences made an eclectic combination. They also made the work largely unclassifiable in the areas of record stores' neatly delineated sections. So that's from the OBI strip that tells you more about him. Let's look at this here. Let's open this up here. Oh, and again, yeah, it looks like we have just like with the Queen one, we've got like an extra art piece here. So let's pull this out here. Let's close up this baggie here so the sticky part doesn't touch the record. There we go. Let's set that down. And yeah, so we've got here. Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. Okay, so when I opened it up, this is what I saw here. Anyways, but now, there we go. I'm sorry. I've just never seen this before. But on the back, I saw this. But once again, just like with the Queen one, we've got an extra piece of artwork here. Let's look at that here. And painting by Valerie Nicole, www.vnicoleart.com, it says on the back here. So this has something to do with the album? Do these have anything to do with the album, or are they just like art that they're just sharing with you? Because I wondered about the Queen one. It didn't make sense to me, but I don't know. But let's look at this here.
Let Grogu commune and maybe he'll tell you later.
Yeah. We'll see. Okay, so here, let's go ahead and look at this here now. So we basically got two covers. Here's one cover. Here's the other cover. Check that out. This is very impressionistic.
Oh, and just to clarify.
So is this too. Yeah, I mean, these are both, once again, and of course it says here, VMP Essentials. Once again, when you look at this, when you can actually see it, the level of production here, the reproduction of the art here, it looks astounding. It looks really beautiful to look at. Let's look at the inside here. We've got a gatefold here. And let me take a quick look here. These are lyrics. Okay, so we've got lyrics here, yeah. Very nicely done. Wow. Let's look inside here. What have we got here? We've got, I think this is a poster. Let's see here. No, it's a booklet. Okay. We've got a whole booklet here. Look at this. Once again, aside from what I just read to you, I don't know too much about this artist here. But look at this. I'm going to read this first before I even play it. Yeah, we've got this whole booklet here. I'm hoping this artist lives up to what I'm reading here. Really hoping so. Because, I mean, this package is amazing. I hope the music is too. It's giving us some trouble getting that out. There we go. Okay, so here it is in the sleeve. We have a black paper sleeve, but once again, we have the anti-static material inside, which is great. Let's pull this album out here. Let's take a look. Yeah, this is on colored vinyl. So we want to show this. Look at this. Very nice. Beautiful. What do you think, Superfan?
It's beautiful, and not just the cover,
Yeah.
and the artwork.
Yeah. So once again, this is their VMP pressing of this album. They are unique to their record club. And once again, if you watched the last one or missed it maybe, I should mention this club isn't cheap. Okay, it is expensive by comparison to just buying, your standard record label releases. It is expensive. You are getting, though, a unique product. But let's see how it sounds, because like I said, I didn't pick this one. I just let them send me their record selection of the month. But yeah, I can't get over how good this looks.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, without having heard a thing, I cannot get over it. And I don't know how well it translates when you watch it here on video, but if you could see it and feel it,
And to clarify, leader is is the German word for songs, and it's normally accompanied by piano. So it's singing accompanied by piano.
Okay, so that's what it means. That's what that word means. I knew it didn't mean how we think of the word leader.
Lighter.
Yeah, it's pronounced lighter. Okay, pronounced lighter, yeah.
I don't know how it's pronounced.
Okay, you're making your best guess, but yeah, what else can we do? So there you go, Beverly Glenn Copeland. I'm going to listen to this. Superfan, maybe you'll join me.
Sure.
Okay, we'll listen to this together, and then we're going to talk about it. Hey everybody, this is TJR, and it's been a week now, and I've listened to this album, Beverly Glenn Copeland. And Superfan, you heard it with me.
Yes, I did.
And we've heard it a couple times, both listening to the actual record, and also after I digitized it, we listened to it in the car on some long drives, just to kind of get the feel for it. One thing that this book here that came with it was quite interesting. It tells about who he is, about his life, and about his music, and he's still alive.
Yes.
And he's still making music. So do you want to give any first impressions before I do?
Very interesting story and very interesting music, I would say.
Yes. Interestingly enough, I'm going to quote my nephew, Francisco, who got this album also.
Yes.
And happened just by, I guess he's enrolled in VMP too, and I didn't know. And but he posted the cover of this album on his Facebook, and he described it as a cross between Joni Mitchell and Richie Havens, which at times feels correct.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, there is that kind of experimental sound. Some of my first impressions was in regard to his voice. And we should say something here real quick so that it's better to understand. Beverly Glenn Copeland is transgender. He started as a woman, and his parents, his family, wanted to institutionalize him for being open about wanting to date women. Yeah. But for basically, being lesbian, openly lesbian. So that's why you might hear us say he, because Beverly Glenn Copeland is male now. So I just want to kind of clear that out of the way in case you're wondering what's going on here. And that's talked about in this booklet here, about his life and about his music. And when I first heard it, I really thought, I really thought his voice reminded me of Joan Baez in many respects. At that point in time, his voice reminded me of Joan Baez. But there were other parts where his voice became very operatic.
Yeah.
Like an opera singer.
It kind of reminded me of Ema Sumac.
Yes, Eva Sumac. And now, at the time, I didn't know who Eva Sumac was when you first brought up that comparison. I'm sorry?
Ema.
Ema Sumac, excuse me.
Spelled Y-M-A.
I had no idea who Ema Sumac was until you made the comparison and then had me hear some of that. And Why do you make that
Somewhat.
comparison?
Just the vocal, for lack of a better term, vocal gymnastics, maybe?
True. And you were talking about
And styling.
Ima Sumak's range.
Yeah, Ima Sumac had allegedly, I think, a 4.5.
4.5 octave range?
Yeah, 4.5 octave range. Possibly, she argued 5. But,
Okay. And yeah, and I heard some of that. I heard how she could go from extreme highs to very deep lows.
Yeah,
Very throaty even.
yeah.
And what's that kind of throaty singing? I'm trying to think of what it's called again. Where it's raw, you know.
Throat singing.
Throat singing? Okay, it's just called throat singing. Okay.
In English.
In English.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's another term I can
okay.
look it up.
Now, there were moments on this album that I really, really enjoyed. I thought the music was really evocative and emotional, especially those Joni Mitchell moments where it's very acoustic guitar driven. But there were some tracks on this album that I didn't enjoy very much, I have to say. Luckily, they weren't the majority of the album. I think maybe there were 2 tracks where it got a little too weird for me. And not in a way that I like weird, because I'll admit there is some weird stuff out there that people think is weird. That I know some people have said I don't like that at all, but I do, and we all kind of quantify weird in different ways. But there were a few tracks that I didn't care for, but mostly I found this to be a really enjoyable listen because the songs were just very evocative. And I agree with what's stated in this booklet. Hard to classify as far as genre. Really hard to classify. Apparently, Beverly Glenn Copeland became more electronic as time went on, but this is very acoustic sounding.
Yeah, this is very 60s folky.
Psychedelic jazz.
It covers everything.
Yeah, and then some. The kitchen sink is definitely included in this.
And that's a great thing because there's something there for everybody, I think.
I guess there is, yes. A little something for everybody. This album may not be for everybody, of course, because it is highly eclectic, highly unusual. But I'm glad I found out who this is.
Yeah.
Because I let them send what they were going to send me. I didn't ask for something that I was familiar with. They said this was going to be the next one at Vinyl Me Please, and I just said, okay, let's just see what it is and see how I react. And I mostly reacted positively. I can see where, like I said, depending on how adventurous you are, you know, you may or may not respond positively to this. But I responded mostly positively. I think you did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm curious to hear where his music went.
Yeah.
He spent decades in obscurity.
Yeah, it did. There was a record store in, I believe it was Japan.
It was a record. Yeah, I think it was a record. Yeah, it was a record store in Japan. Yeah, I was thinking the record label, but yeah.
That
And
found this album.
that found this album and said, "Can you send us your remaining stock?" Which I think the thing was the album he apparently only had like a couple hundred copies of it on cassette tape, and he sent his stock over, and then they were saying, "Can you please send more?" And I guess
and based on that, he had a resurgence.
Yeah, based on that, began to experience a resurgence for his music, which to me is really hopeful and empowering to hear about. That somebody whose music went largely ignored could, after a period of time, find an audience. And he himself said that he just didn't have any use or need or was ambivalent about pop music classifications and didn't have any need for it and just didn't really want to adhere to it in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, and for that reason, I guess he always kind of got put on the jazz section, even though he's not really jazz. So anyways, I have to admit I'm very pleased with this selection. And that's one thing I should mention, the pressing.
The pressing was really amazing.
We were just knocked out. I mean, if nothing else, we were just knocked out with just how amazing it sounded. Just
And looked.
It felt like those instruments were right there
Yeah.
in the room. And yeah, just this is. I recently talked about that Rolling Stones half-speed master from Abbey Road Studios that I got from the Amazon Record Club, and I said that was one of the best sounding vinyl records I've ever heard. Well, this is included now in that. Just as far as sound quality, just sound quality of the recording. Yeah, I was really knocked out by how good this record sounded. Even if you're not into this music, you can't help but notice that. And so that's just the quality of the pressing. So yeah, pretty freaking amazing. I'm going to listen to this in the future. I'm going to keep this. And I'm probably going to try to seek out, hopefully I can stream. I haven't even looked yet. I'll go look up on Tidal. Hopefully stream more of his later records and hear his more electronic stuff and just see what it's about. I don't know. Maybe I'll react to it differently hearing it streaming versus hearing it here on this amazing pressing. But apparently, I'm guessing maybe he was an early pioneer in electronic music.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
I would say yeah.
Based on what they said, how he recorded one of his albums on like a very early computer using a Yamaha DX7 synthesizer, which is still an analog synthesizer, by the way. But at any rate, though, yeah. So yeah, I'm fascinated to hear more. Even if I end up not caring for it, I'm still fascinated just to find out more. But anyways, so that was the second album from Vinyl Me Please. And so we'll see what we get next month. And Superfan, thanks for joining me here.
No problem.
And as always, if you like what I do here, be sure to click like, click subscribe, smash that bell notification icon so you can know when I release new videos. And if you'd like to be a patron supporter, go to patreon.com/TJR the original. And if you can't become a patron supporter, please just click like and share these videos on your social media. Everybody, thank you so much for watching, and we hope you all stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.